What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you by ExpressVPN. You know, sports packages on cable can cost a fortune, and many times they don't even show all the games you want to see. That's why having ExpressVPN is an absolute must for any sports fan. ExpressVPN has helped me save hundreds of dollars on sports subscriptions. They also let me stream all the games I want with no restrictions. Here's how it works. ExpressVPN tricks the sites into thinking you're located somewhere else in the world. This lets you watch games that are blacked out in your region and buy sports subscriptions that cost less in other countries. You can use ExpressVPN to stream all sports, NBA, NFL, English Premier League, you name it. ExpressVPN is easy to use. Just fire up the app, pick a location you want to appear from, and hit connect. ExpressVPN is incredibly fast and works on all your devices, even your smart TV, so you can stream sports in HD from anywhere. And even when I'm not watching sports, I run ExpressVPN on my devices 24/7 because it encrypts my data and keeps it safe from hackers and prying eyes. Save money and watch all the games you want with the best VPN for streaming sports. Visit expressvpn.com/smokingtire today to get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/smokingtire to get 3 months extra for free. Go check it out to learn more. Get yourself VPN up, kids. Now, how about Auto Tempest? Listen, your time is valuable. Time is money, and you only have so much of it. So when you're looking on the internet for cars, that can be a time-wasting device, a time-wasting activity, but that doesn't mean it needs to be inefficient, right? Auto Tempest will help you look at all the used car sites at once. You just type in your search terms one time, and then Auto Tempest scours the internet on the big sites and the small ones and brings all those results into one place. And then it even lets you compare with results from all of Craigslist, not just the area around you. And Facebook Marketplace is added as well. It saves you time compared to trying to check every website yourself. It's free. There's no strings attached. You just go to autotempest.com and there it is for you. Auto Tempest is the jam. They've been sponsoring us for years. We love them. We love talking about them. And we use them when we are looking to buy or sell. Autotempest.com. All the cars, one search. All right, folks, on this episode of the show, the master of setup himself, Joey Seeley, is in the studio. He has worked wonders on fleets of Porsche 911s, and his new hobby and business is building really cool overland Cayennes with a lot of his trademark, subtle but important touches. Joey Seeley of eMotion Engineering on the Smoking Tire Podcast.
It's the Smoking Tire Podcast. Hello. I just wanted to drop in with a little beat there. For the Zach on the edit.
Way easier.
For the Zach on the edit. What up, everybody? Hello. It's Tuesday. It was a good day today. I was productive as fuck. Joey Seeley.
Hello.
Were you productive as fuck today?
Nope.
Because you spent half the day in traffic getting here. Is that why?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You know, planning to get out at 3:30 is kind of tough.
I know. This is like a but you throw these hours in the marketing budget hours, right? These come back. I think the Smoking Tire Podcast hours.
Absolutely.
Typically, every once in a while are hours well spent.
Yeah, I get messages for weeks after.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Good. That's what we do.
We were busy.
You guys were busy. I was late.
Yeah, you were late. We were watching.
You guys
YouTube.
are watching All Cars Go to Heaven 2, which is still available on Vimeo. Cop that shit.
There
have been swirls of All Cars Go to Heaven 3. Well, there have been because we keep talking about making a third movie.
Can I be part of it?
Yes, you can. Here's the problem with the third movie, and maybe you can help us solve this problem because you're a problem solver. The first movie we made, All Cars Go to Heaven 1, we were like, all we have to do is cover the out-of-pocket expenses of this, which was like $7,000. No problem. And then the rest was like gravy. Cool, right? Because we didn't have anything anyway. The second movie, we all, kind of like had expenses a little bit. And so it was like, okay, we need to cover the expenses of the movie plus our time for making the movie a little bit.
Right. You got to pay rent.
Right. Now, It's 2020. To make a third one, we have to cover the expenses of the movie. We have to cover our time for making it. We have to cover our time in a manner that it is somehow a good idea to not do our normal jobs. You know what I mean? Lost opportunity cost. And we also have to account for the fact that if we make a fucking third movie, the four of us cannot be the stars of the movie and also the film crew. That shit sucks. Everything about that is terrible.
Yeah, you're not having fun.
Right,
not
Zach?
as much fun anyway.
No, it's true. It's really, really
growing a
hard.
mustache?
As a joke, it's gonna be shaved after this show. I just want everyone to see how terrible it is.
Are you serious?
Keep it going.
Or is this?
No. Last week I worked at home like 5 days straight, and I didn't see a human, so I just didn't shave. And then I was like, oh, this is about as long as it's gotten. So I just buzzed it with the Brio Beardscape.
Oh yeah,
and it
you left
looks this bad.
Wow.
And Sarah's like, just see how far it goes.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
no.
right. Dude, keep going.
She's-
a little longer.
It can't-
Another week.
No.
I mean, I got here a few minutes ago and didn't really notice it until
Exactly.
right this second.
I look
because
like-
you need the right light to really see the mustache.
I look like I bought it from Adam LZ. Or from like a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
That's what I
You just drank hot chocolate.
Yeah. Anyway,
See?
but if we do another one, you should be involved because you're now in the Overland game.
I'm into the breaking cars thing.
Dude, when
That's
did
how
you
we all grew up that
turn
way.
left off the pavement and decide I'm going to build Cayennes now?
I have no idea. It started with this. Like actually, the last time we were here, or I was here, we talked about the rally cars, and that's kind of what kicked it off.
Yeah.
You know, and
Wait,
then
that kicked off your desire to build a Cayenne? The last time you were on this show?
Oh no,
gonna
but
say, I want a
just in
commission
general,
check.
because the rally cars took off. Everyone
Yeah.
started building them, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to build another one. Like, I want to do something different.
It
you
would be
know?
tough to do something that hasn't been done. Although I met that, I'm blanking on his name, the Baja 911 guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name?
TJ Russell.
TJ Russell.
Yeah.
What a sweet gentleman.
Yeah.
And
extremely talented.
holy shit, is that car cool?
Isn't it? Isn't
Some
it?
bananas ass fucking.
And I love seeing stuff. I mean, he's not the first one to do something like that, but you know, he's brought it to,
It's
to the
the
stateside.
Baja 911 on Instagram. And because we're gonna talk. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna talk about Cayennes a lot on this show. but we were at this the Overland Porsche Experience Center Cars and Coffee, and this fool brought this thing out, and like everybody DM'd me this. Everybody. Anything that time there's this off-road 911 content now, it floods my inbox.
Yeah.
And but this guy TJ built this. He worked at Singer apparently, right?
Yeah.
Or was it contract for Singer?
I don't know exactly, but I knew he worked for
Yeah.
Singer of some in
Contract
some
killer
capacity.
for Singer.
So this is so cool because
Dude.
it is a luxury race car. Apparently, according to TJ, you can drive this up to tech at the Baja 1000 and it will pass tech just like that and you can fucking race it.
That's
Oh,
so
it's like a pre-runner, like a Baja pre-runner.
Did you know of him before you saw the car?
Other than people sending me the images on Instagram,
Yeah, so
I'd never heard of this guy.
I followed it from day one.
Oh, no.
I didn't know who he was, but I was like on board. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Let's see this, because I saw his CAD drawings. I'm like, this is going to be insane.
Yeah.
And watching him do that build was really a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I told
one
him,
guy
like,
did this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so it's like a crazy wide body. It's like got actual like trophy truck level suspension.
He made that bodywork.
Yeah.
He did all the metal fab, whether it be sheet metal or you know, welding all the tubing, building the uprights, building the trailing arms.
These are the fender flares of fender flares. I mean, this is
Yeah.
serious. And then the body is still narrow, so it
Go to the
it's even
front
more
view.
of a juxtaposition.
It's the trophy truck of 911s, and it's all wheel drive. It's a Carrera 4, and I think the most interesting thing about it is that it started as a cab.
Yeah.
It's a convertible.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't want to compete with Singer for 964 coupes. Fair. And B,
And nobody wants a 964 convertible,
no
so
one
they're
wants.
cheap.
Yeah, they're like $25,000. The disparity is extraordinary, and especially if you're willing to buy an auto and swap it or something. You know what I mean?
And he doesn't need a roof. You got to do all the cage work anyway, so you might as well get it out of the way.
That's what he said. He said you can just drop the entire cage. You can build the cage pretty much outside the car and then just drop it in from the top.
That's cheating.
I don't know if he did that. But yeah, he said I can drive it. He said he has some fine tuning to do, and then I can have a go.
Well, now
I'm very
I know
excited.
what you were talking about because I saw that post of yours. You're like, I'm gonna get to drive this, and I thought it was like an old vintage, kind of Rothman's type of thing, which
Yeah.
is still cool. But this, I'm even more into.
Whoever did the interior did a good job. The attention to detail is very very
tuck,
good.
tuck the cage, the cage into the headliner. And
Yeah.
the A and B pillars.
What engine's in it?
It's a 3.8.
It's got a 3.8 from Rothsport, which is his motors in just about everything, including my car. But in the Gunther Works
And the
cars.
Gunther Works, yeah, they do.
So
they do theirs
so
too.
I asked him. I go, so Jeff Gamroth. I was like, tell me you put a real torquey cam in it. He goes, oh yeah. And that's the way Jeff talks. If you ever meet that guy, he's like, oh yeah, Joey. Like it's just he put a torque monster motor in that.
See
thing.
that in
So it's
hindsight,
legit.
I would have asked Marco to build my motor for more torque and less top end. I have like the kind of cam that most people want when they go for an engine build, which in hindsight or the next time I do something, I might go for the more torque cam.
Yeah.
It might make a little more sense.
Yeah, you want that and low gear ratios.
I know a short diff would be pretty sweet.
Well,
Or
not
how
that
does that work?
if you're thinking final drive, not the diff. The diff is you want a diff no matter what. But what we did on the second Luft car, the yellow one, was put short 2, 3, 4 in it.
Oh.
So first gear was nice for driving around the city. Or starting from lights anyways.
Right.
In stop signs. But 2, 3, 4 while you're slipping, and then we left the fifth for freeway.
for highway cruising. Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
that
it
sounds
was-
expensive.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the car's
But
expensive.
everything about that car was crazy expensive.
Two?
though.
You said two?
that's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we did.
But would you recommend re-gearing a car for like normal people?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing that everyone forgets. They think horsepower sells. So everyone understands horsepower. They're like, I want more horsepower. But there's so much fun. Like, look at the little Miatas and the 944 spec guys with no horsepower that are kicking the crap out of much faster cars on track. Gear ratios, chassis setup, that's really where the good stuff is. So, like, you can make a really fast car with very little horsepower with the right gear ratio sitting in the power band.
Yeah.
Right, because if you have a better gear ratio, you're using the maximum power of that car more frequently, right?
Right. So to be completely honest, if you don't want to go in and spend, that motor, in TJ's car, with electronics, it's at least $80,000.
Yeah, it's true.
Where you can re-gear your transmission for under 10.
That's true.
What would
I've
you do?
never considered re-gearing a transmission as being a value proposition, but I guess Porsche horsepower is the worst value in horsepower.
Oh, by
And
far,
so-
especially air-cooled.
so when you're
Air-cooled two valve motors.
Yeah, when you're comparing air-cooled horsepower, all of a sudden re-gearing sounds like, oh yeah, that's cheap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shit, maybe I should re-gear my car.
You should. You absolutely should.
How much is it to re-gear a G50? 10 Gs?
I'd have to look at
That
my
sounds a lot.
receipts.
That's still a lot.
That's
but
still
yeah.
a lot. I don't
Yeah.
think it's that much.
I know Sharky charges a lot for those Cayman GT4s.
The gears are expensive.
Are they?
Yeah, and that's the thing to do, honestly, because I've done it now.
Oh,
to
it
two.
rules, doesn't it?
It's great.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of putting the short 6th in.
Oh no, that's a problem.
No, so that's a short 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
those
yeah.
cars. Yeah.
When
that's the way to do it.
he did the 6 too. He fucked up on the 6 car.
On my first car,
Yeah.
I did 6, and then on the second one, I didn't.
So I picked up that car at his shop. I had a gig in Sacramento, and I call him like, Alex, let me get that silver car. I got to go to Sacramento from San Francisco. He goes, no problem. And he goes, you're not going to like 6th. And I learned right away. I get to the freeway and I'm going like 80 or something. It's like 5,000 RPM.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
it's no
oh,
good.
God, I'm doing a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, that's not going to work. And it's sure on the track. Actually, even on the track, you're technically not going to use 6 anyways at most of
Yeah.
the tracks here on the West Coast. So it's like, what's the point of making it short if you're not going to use it on the racetrack
Yeah.
anyways? So, but yeah, that's something to look into is re-gearing cars.
Good point. We will look into that. Okay, Cayennes. So you built one of the most sort of focused, fizzy 911s I'd ever driven. That Project Nasty, which was good.
Yeah, which you have to drive again because it's
I
completely
thought you sold it.
No.
Oh.
And it's not officially for sale,
Oh.
but I've got a customer that is interested, and I've gotten, I just don't use it anymore. That's the problem. It's too good of a car to just sit there. Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean.
And I'm doing parts now. Like I have my own suspension parts
Really?
line and brake pads and stuff like that. So, and it's all, I started with 991 GT3. So I should have one of those, not an air-cooled 911, because it's not going to help sell my parts.
That makes sense.
So, but I've got somebody who's interested, so maybe I will. We'll see. It's got to be the right number. There's just too much in that.
Yeah, I mean, but you love that car too.
I love that car. I will if it sells, I will cry. I'm sure.
But do you just not have time to drive it?
It's time, but it's also stressful, because every body panel, every piece of that car is handmade. Like everything. The flares are shaped by hammer. It's
Wow.
like it's been in the body shop for a few months now. Did I tell you about that?
No. Did you get hit or something?
No, I hit a semi-truck drive shaft on the freeway.
Fuck out of here.
Dead center.
Oh God.
I high centered.
Wait, dead center like long ways? Like you hit the end of it?
Yeah, well, I rode up over it, lost steering because I was high centered on it. So, I mean, that part is fixed, but they straightened part of the frame, and the cage is so nice in that it buckled one of the rear fenders, so they had to redo that. So it's going to be real. I mean, it's going to be nicer than the way it went in.
Yeah.
Because I never painted the underside of the car, so that's going to be all painted and pretty, So
Well, that would have added weight, and you were always trying to cut weight.
Budget. It had a budget that I didn't have.
Yeah.
But
it's such a pretty car.
I will.
But if you're going to freak out about it.
Yeah. And honestly, like, when can we ever go for a drive and not sit in a little bit of traffic?
I completely understand. And that's why.
No AC.
That's why I kind of want, I think, my next place after I finish this one to be at the base of the canyons. So you can have a car like this and it waits at the canyons for you.
Yeah.
So you just drive your Cayenne across town and then you get in that over there.
Yeah.
Then you have your fun with it. It's great. It's taken care of. It's ready to go. But you never have to sit in that traffic jam.
I think you're onto something.
That's my next move.
Because I live on the water, and it's like, that's a great place to be. But
not with that car.
I'm pinned to the water. Like, Rod Emery is the one who told me. He's like, because Burbank area. I was like, how do you deal with it? He goes, well, I know the freeway system, so it's pretty easy. But also, he's like, Joe, you're pinned to the water. You can't go there. He's like, I can go 360 degrees around where I want to go. I was like, oh my God, you're a genius.
Never thought of it that way. Good point.
I didn't either. I was like, well, I thought I was on something.
In an escape?
No, just like to be able to access things.
If you want to go driving, he can only go 270 degrees or whatever.
Yeah.
I have to drive out through everything to get to the mountains.
Of course.
Yeah. I think you should get I like
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want to do this. So I don't want to leave my fucking beach house. I'm going to stay there. I just don't want my cars to have to suffer through that shit.
Put a helicopter pad on top of the next building.
Bro.
And then people can fly there, land,
you buy that
drive
house in Bel Air with the Airwolf helicopter on it.
Yep.
I didn't
Remember
see
that shit?
Come get me. Come get me.
That crazy Bruce Makowski guy. I went to the house with Hanno to that party they had there. It was like the most expensive house ever listed in LA. It's like $275 million it was listed for. I think it ended up selling for 90, but it came with a helicopter.
Wow.
And it was a prop helicopter that, quote, and I'm air quoting, didn't fly. Right?
Oh, because legally
they can't sell. Because legally you can't fly in and out of a home in Bel Air.
Yeah, we're like store jet fuel there.
Because the real estate agents, I was like, yo, what's up with that chopper? That shit is functional. That is not a prop chopper. That is a functional. You know what I mean?
A prop Airwolf.
And they go, listen, off the record, it's a $40,000 fine flying in here. But if you're buying a $275 million house, fuck it.
Yeah. Because if something happens, you're like, peace.
Yeah, or whatever. Anyway.
We're good at getting off topic, aren't we?
That's what this show kind of is.
Yeah.
Cayennes.
Yeah.
Why off-road? Why now? Just to be different from the safari folks, or have you all of a sudden decided that you prefer being in nature?
Oh, I've always been into nature.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in New Hampshire. I lived in Washington. I love snowboarding, hiking.
Joey's a nudist.
I'm a nudist. Keep dreaming with that mustache.
Well played. Nice beard, by the way, for people who are not watching.
Thank you. No, it was honestly like, of course, I needed a versatile car. I had at one time I had 3 very impractical cars.
I had
Project Nasty. I had the M3, and I had a 66.5 Ford 250.
Yeah.
The thing was rad. I loved it, but couldn't take it really on the freeway because it was a 3-speed.
Yeah.
So I was real frustrated with that. And then I was thinking about being able to tow to the racetrack and all that stuff. So with Dieselgate and Volkswagen, the diesels just tanked. and I got a used diesel Cayenne for less than half of what its sticker price was. So I got that, and then I was like, well, I know how capable they are.
Yeah.
Porsche doesn't build something for the sake of building it, so as you probably remember, when the first gen came out, like, people were taking them to the track and they would do well. And then off-road they do really well. They built the Trans-Siberias and all that.
Didn't the first gen had more off-road shit on it than the second? And didn't they gradually remove some of the off-roady stuff for weight reasons?
I don't know officially, but seeing the cars, like, the skid plates weren't really skid plates, and they have the air suspension, which, is problematic, but for ground clearance purposes, and that's great, because I didn't have that at first. I have Coil on this, but they had a locking differential, whereas these new ones don't. They have an E-diff, so it does lock, so it gets a certain amount of spin and then locks. So I've not gotten stuck until recently in anything. Like, I've done some really impressive stuff, and my brother, like, because there's people kind of go like, really though, is this a gimmick? And my brother has that beautiful built Tacoma, and my sister with a Rubicon, and I can follow them around and do anything that they do. Just my brother can do some of it faster, because he's long travel, nasty stuff. But so it's really capable, and it's my escape vehicle. Like, it's so I can go play with them and go to the mountains and have some fun. And it's real. First we focused on protection, to make sure, like, we weren't going to break something and be stranded, and recovery in case I got stuck. And then slowly, because nothing's available. Nobody does this. So we had to make everything, so eventually it got, that's the number 3 car right there. That went up to Lake Tahoe. That's that's so much nicer than mine. We pulled out.
What's the difference between 1 and 3?
That one
is the white one.
1 is the white one, that's mine, and then 2 is a dark gray one with the dark gray matching dark gray wheels. Yeah, and then number 3 is chalk with white wheels again. But the number 3 car has, it has the full rock sliders and underbody armor. It has a winch tucked under the front bumper. It's got a compressor on board in the rear and goose gear, drawers in the rear of it. We'll do a rear seat delete once it's ready, because of course they didn't make anything for the Cayennes, but they were interested. We integrated the roof rack into the roof structure, which mine will have, but
into the roof structure. What does that mean?
Like the actual, it's not just plain old sheet metal. There's support beams up there, and there's the side stuff that's really reinforced for rollover protection.
Oh, okay.
So we tied into that on the number 2 and number 3. Mine doesn't have that.
Yours is just in the ski rack mounts or something like that?
Well, they don't have any. Either they have the hoops or you don't have anything. So
really? They don't have rails on those?
They have a hoop rail. So if it came from the factory that way, you got it. But they wouldn't even allow dealers to install them after the fact, because you have to pull the headliner.
Oh.
It's a bit of work. It's honestly like 12 to 16 hours of work to pull the headliner,
to put a fucking rack on one of those,
to build the mounts in it. But and then we run the wiring in the roof for the roof lights. Yep. It's nice. It's great. We have a little bit of fun occasionally. That's me putting the skid plates on by myself.
Wow, I didn't know.
It looks like Joey's gonna, as soon as it looks in this picture, like from his Instagram, which is emotion_engineering. It looks like Joey's gonna put this skid plate on with his feet and then light his own fart on fire.
Yeah. Who's to say I didn't? We have a little bit of fun. I think that we try to have fun and show a little bit of it, because it's, you see cars, parts.
Totally.
It's like we try to add a little personality to it.
Yeah. Is I guess if you've done 3 of these in a fairly short period of time, like someone's lining up, right?
Yeah, actually, we don't have number 4 lined up right now. I took a breather, and I finished number 3 and left the same day he did. He came down and got it, and then like an hour later, I took off and was gone for 2 weeks.
Nice.
So it's been just kind of.
Did you go take yours? This is where you went?
Dude, they did some shit.
So where'd you go?
I went up to Washington for Christmas, and then drove down. Like, I took the long road up there and the long road down to Moab, Utah.
Nice.
And we did like 4 days out there. It was supposed to be a little bit longer, but we just adjusted to weather. As you can see, it snowed pretty hard.
Yeah.
That was after some snow melt, but it was minus 14 at night. So
were you camping?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, car camping. So froze.
So what
everything.
do you do when it's minus 4? Are you just sleeping with the engine running in the heater on?
No. We were prepared. With proper 0 degree bags and stuff.
Wow. Still minus 14 is cold. Even
I mean, plus they're in Moab, which is like, there's slick rock, and now it's covered in snow, so it's like slicker rock. It just seemed, when I saw these photos, I was like, this looks really sketch and intense.
I put it in a ditch twice just from the clay, the mud clay. Just horsing around a little bit and then going, I don't have any grip, and put it in a ditch and just kept driving out of it. So, like, I don't have to worry too much because of the skid plates. Like, it's a flat bottom. Right. It's an aluminum flat bottom with steel structure, so we're good. But I did get stuck. I did get stuck in the snow trying to climb into where he showed pictures of when you guys were there, but Hogsback in the snow.
When that dirt gets wet and it turns into that clay, it is one of the sketchiest substances, either to drive on, or even if you get out of the car and you go, and your feet go like a foot into the clay. I took a rental car off road, a rented Expedition. I've told the story a million times. On a normal sunny day in the December in the Utah desert, Cottonwood Canyon Road between Page, Arizona, and Bryce Canyon. Halfway, this is pre-GPS, pre-everything. Halfway, starts raining. Whole road turns to clay, stuck, fucking almost went off a cliff. Super, super sketch.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And only snow and ice, which happened later and actually froze the clay, we were able to drive it out, amazingly enough. But what? So you just winch yourself out? Oh, you got little rampy guys.
Yeah, so we have all the max tracks. There was, I had 2, my brother had 2, and my sister had 4. So we used all of them.
You made a little orange road
and a Mexican blanket. That's actually a secret that my sister taught us. Yeah, that a lot of people do use because they do make a lot of grip. If you have a slick rock, you throw it down.
Shit.
Yeah, so it's somewhere. Actually, I think this is before I made it. So that actually got a blanket somewhere in there. But yeah, we had to stack rocks because there's a hole right there that I kept getting hooked in and shovel a bunch of soil onto
And I
the
looked
snow.
up this road, Matt. It's called Hogsback, and it looks a ton like the hill we did in All Cars, like shape-wise.
Yeah.
So just imagine that covered in snow.
Yeah,
it's 0 degrees.
Yeah, and that was where I got stuck. But there was hairier parts where it was literally you were gonna fall 1,000 feet, and I was having 4-wheel lockup, descending.
Yeah,
because ABS doesn't work if all 4 are stopped. It was pretty scary. It was more than scary, actually. Like my brother radioed to my sister and was like, "Hey, Danielle, why don't you stop at that hairpin in case Joey can't stop so he can hit you?"
Yeah,
and that was a very real solution. She
Yeah.
waited and I made it, and then we kept going. But it was, but it made it very rewarding. We were the only ones out there. We were the first tracks on these trails. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy, man. I don't know about that. I don't know if I need that shit in my life.
It's not for the faint of
I
heart.
would go with someone who knows what they're doing. I wouldn't set out and be like, I got this. We got traction control. Yeah.
No,
I like going out and seeing the world that you can't see from the road. I like that part of it very much, but I don't need to show the kind of this crazy shit that the car can get over.
We go hard.
Just take me to where the good view is. I'm happy,
We had the good views, no light pollution.
I know,
it was worth it. And we were comfortable. Like, I've done it enough, and they've done it so much more than I have. So, we were comfortable.
I really like, so are there a lot of cheap diesel Cayennes around now?
Wow.
They are. You can buy like a 2015 with 50,000 miles, and it's, 35 or lower.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And I get 550 miles to a tank.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, my dad had a Q7 diesel, and it was
the same
absolutely
thing.
amazing.
It's the same motor, same car.
We took it. We used to use it when we would go to the East Coast, and we'd film at Monticello Motor Club. We'd use it as a fucking camera car on the track and mob it. It was good.
Yeah,
Zach would
It was
mob it
legit
on the
good.
track.
Like I tell you, they do really well on track. And actually now I have full suspension in that, and it's nice that it's back to handling really well with the off-road tires, the 2-inch lift, all the weight.
What tires do you like to use?
The Falcon Wild Peak AT3W. I like it because it's great in the snow because I want to go to Mammoth, and it's quiet on the road.
I think that's what's on the van.
Really?
I think that's what 1552 put on my Delica. I think that's what I have it downstairs.
It's smart. I tell everybody just because of the fact that it's quiet and it's lightweight.
I have the BFG KO2s on my Safari.
Those are noisy.
They are fucking loud.
Yeah.
That's how you announce you're awesome, man.
They look super cool, but they're really loud.
They're the
aggressive.
mustache of the car.
Would you say the Falcons are as good or better off-road without the noise?
I've not been able to compare.
Okay.
But my brother would be better to answer that because he's so big in the off-road. Like so the whole Emotion Overland, because he and I work together now, and he does a little bit of these builds on the side, and he knows a lot more about which tire is good for what and everything. But he's on board with the Falcons. He put them on his truck. We put them on my sister's because of the snow and because of the road noise. And off-road, they're just fine. Like they're really,
so
really
good in sand, good in snow, good in dirt, good on tarmac.
It's kind of like, because it's a dual. All these are, to be honest, it's just like when people build a track car. Yeah, cool. It's a track car, we know, but you're also doing more than 50% on the road.
Yeah.
So really building dual purpose is important. So that's where we come in. Like he's driving his on the road. I drive mine, obviously through Newport. It needs to be quiet.
Yeah.
It needs to be, ready to go off road, but not, you do a majority on the road. So
it's really nice because you can get one of these for like $35,000, and then you obviously going to put parts into it, which will cost money. But when a new Jeep Wrangler with like a Rubicon or something is 50 to 60 G's, I mean, this is a different solution. And
every time I see the price of a fucking Wrangler,
I know they retain their value well, and they're really good at what they need to do, but they are really expensive. So it's cool that there's a different option that, it's a different experience. It's a more luxurious experience, and it's definitely nicer to drive on the highway.
Yeah, that's
cool.
what everybody says off road. They see me and they're like, "You look comfortable," and I'm like, "Damn, I got the air conditioned seats on."
Yeah,
it's pretty nice, and that's where the dual purpose comes in. Mm-hmm. Sure, Rubicon is fantastic, but they're really uncomfortable.
The new ones are much better on the highway than the last generation. Like it's a pretty good leap, but it's still. It is what it is.
Still, it's tight.
Still a refrigerator box with fully flat,
Yeah.
doors and
so it's and that's why we built them so tidy. Like the bumpers are all nice and tidy, because really, honestly, I wanted the wives of my clients to be interested in driving it every day.
Yeah,
and that's actually where number 3, what that was intended for, was my client's wife. It's her snow car. So that's
it's highly specialized.
Hey man,
like a regular Cayenne on snow tires would have been more than sufficient probably for this guy. Not that you need to tell people that, but come on.
Well, they intend to go overlanding with it.
Okay,
but
cool.
For the winter, it's the primary car.
Overkill is my business.
We built them a trailer too.
Really?
We didn't build it. We had it built through Off-Grid Trailers. So it's got an off-road axle-less full suspension trailer.
Was that the guy who was down at PC when we were down there with the off-road trailers?
But same thing.
Yeah,
but same
that thing was kind of cool, actually. I dig the idea of a pop tent kind of camper trailer that has the off-road that can be.
There's tons of that. That one was kind of like the Taj Mahal.
Bro.
Like it was huge, and it was Transformers. Like you had a patio. It was wild.
And then they pull the kitchen out of the side. Yeah.
But that's how you get people to go out and do the things that you want to do, comfortably.
Bro, what do you have? Zach's got some off-road trailers.
I just grab one.
Yo, have you seen the Sherp Arc? You fuck with the Sherp, right? Have you seen the Sherp? The Russian thing that I went to Minnesota to drive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The fucking the amphibious joint?
Yeah.
So the Sherp Arc, ARK, as in fucking Noah's, because look at this motherfucker. The Sherp has a trailer now that attaches to it with its own powertrain, and the whole shit is a 10x10, and that trailer can be used to
Jesus.
What?
Right?
It has its own powertrain?
Yes.
Oh my god.
But it's connected, but it's all connected to so you drive it. It's a 10x10, and the trailer has a box on it. It's like a skateboard thing, modular kind of deal. And you can put like benches, you can put seats to have like a tour rig, you can have a rescue ambulance, you can have a mobile like lab, or a full-on camper that goes on this shit.
Well, these things are amazing because they measure the fuel economy in hours, and it's 82.
Yeah. 82 hours at full throttle. For those who need to know what that is from Bemidji, Minnesota, where the importer is, to Houston, Texas, and back on one tank of fuel.
That's awesome.
Look
at that.
Dude, these things are the shit. You got to go. You take your Cayenne up to Bemidji, Minnesota. They'll let you drive one of these things.
They'll just drive over.
It's the jam, dude. You drive into a frozen lake, just break through the ice, and then you're a boat. It rules.
It's awesome.
But a 10x10? Yes.
Yeah, we need like 2,000 acres somewhere, Look
at this. This is like the most Russian thing ever. Sherp vehicles has overcame We don't need the
It
English.
defeated the models. It has defeated all of the models come to it and it defeats them.
I really like their Sherp driving around the
These
globe
graphics
thing.
are quite good. They really are. Like we're making fun of the other one, but
No, we're joking because of the Russian translation.
yeah,
It's
these
really
are,
funny.
they're amazing.
Oh, look, there's the
Jeez.
options. The digger, the universal loader, personal transport.
Well, this is if you want to pick up your money. That's what the universal loading platform is for.
Personal transportation is to collect your money.
Yeah.
And then dwelling module is to leave with
It's
your
to fuck
money.
your money. Wow.
Oh, the medical one is ill. Wow, I've never seen a Sherp in white as in an ambulance
I'm into it.
livery.
I'm really
I
into
really
it.
like it. Man. Tank! It's a tanker.
Tanker,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
different definition. That's rad.
Yeah.
That's
right? Fucking
It's exactly the same thing.
totally.
Yeah. tell us more about your
Top speed
crossover.
18. No, it's
kidding.
not dual purpose. It is dual
not.
purpose, but the other purpose is boat.
Yeah, very good. That's very good.
I'm super stoked that, like, isn't it weird? Because we have basically reached, and I know people have probably been saying this for a while, but I really feel like we're reaching the end of streetable supercars. Like, they just can't get any faster to be used in the street. And I like that custom vehicles are kind of pivoting to off-road because, like, especially California and Nevada, like, the desert is like, it's like the last freedom, you know what I mean, in terms of driving, right? No traffic,
The West
no
was the
law.
frontier, and now they're bouncing back
Yeah,
the other way.
we're
You
going
know,
back east.
like,
Turn
we're
them
going
around.
back in lane.
Whacking Z's.
No, it's just like if you want to go fast, you know, safely, you know, and fuck around and have fun in a motor vehicle, like the desert is really the place to do it.
Yeah. Well, there's also, you know, it's just getting away from people, which is hard to do. And speed's fun for sure, but, you know, this is just as much fun when you're problem solving, trying to figure out how to get stuck, you know, on the side of a hill or whatever. But or just going and seeing beautiful stuff, camping out, having everything you need as, you know, for comfort. But in the dirt, you don't have to go 120, 140 miles an hour. I'm sure there's a lot of Baja guys that love that.
Yeah, right.
but-
We're going to have BJ Baldwin on the podcast.
yeah.
He's going to come
He's
debate
gonna be like,
that
that
with
guy's
you.
full of shit. But honestly, like, you go and have a little bit of fun, like cruising, like, you know, we were jamming through Moab, Mota, at like 45.
That should be
you
a
know,
new
like
strain.
having fun, just
It feels
cruising.
fast. You know, if it's loose
You know,
surface,
yeah.
it feels fast.
It's a blast.
How does the Cayenne do on whoops? Can you do whoops?
Now it's better.
Yeah.
Now it's better because I have triple adjustable competition 3-ways in the number 1 and number 3. Number 2 hasn't gotten them yet, but there they are. It does much better. Before it lacked control. Like it was pretty good, but yeah, it definitely lacked control. Now it's really sweet.
What can you take from your background, like tuning shocks for motorsport and stuff, to like tuning shocks for this? Is it a completely different skill set, or is it like knowledge base, or is it kind of it all translate?
Yeah, I know it's different. Like you see the stuff that the off-road guys are doing, it's crazy. It's a variation of the same thing. Like I would assume that they're spending a lot of time thinking about what the wheel's doing. Whereas in motorsport, I think most guys are thinking about what the chassis is doing. Mm-hmm. You know, and because I mean, the velocity of the wheel that weighs, I don't know what an off-road wheel weighs, like 125 pounds.
Crazy.
It's crazy, and they're mashing. So it's different
well,
in
at the
that
sake
respect.
of being crude, like in a sports car, if you're going through a corner, all the two wheels are doing the same thing, and 2 other wheels are doing the same thing, possibly 4.
Ish,
like
yeah.
with very minor vibrations and stuff. But in an off-road car, all 4 wheels could be going like a slightly different direction and different speed.
Oh yeah, and we're operating in maximum 3 inches of travel, where those guys are like 36 inches. You know, just going crazy. So I mean, it didn't take me long to tune these to where I was happy. But I did see the difference once I got off road, because I tuned it for comfort and weight transition on the street and all that. And then I got off road and I was like, oh yeah, I need some more high speed compression dialed back in to help control the wheel over the fast stuff, the fast moving bumps.
Cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it would be very different for most people. I for whatever reason, I just really understand dampers, and that's always been my sweet spot.
Yeah.
So I just focused on that and got it really quite comfortable. And the new customer is so stoked. I'm stoked. I'm happy that 2 inches above ride height with off-road tires, and I can mash the canyon roads again like it was stock.
Yeah,
So,
how do you not ruin the on-road mannerisms? Is it like
Well, it's just the dampers did it.
It's
Like
just the
it's
settings?
just control, like getting it to be under nice, like the weight of the car under control and the weight of the wheel and tire under control, and it's it's keeping it on the pavement. It's
This is not an adaptive shock, right?
No,
Okay.
no, it's all manual adjustments. The rebound, high speed and low speed compression.
Do you want to do one that's got an air suspension? Is that worthwhile? Do any of them? Do any of the other ones have it?
No, all three of them have coil.
It was a factory option though, right? You could get air suspension on the diesel. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, my
know
dad's Q7 had the air
Yeah.
suspension actually, didn't it? Yeah, it was height adjustable. It definitely
Probably.
did. Yeah,
I think we
it
lowered
did.
it for the track.
I think
So there is definitely an advantage to that.
Yeah.
especially if you could swap out and put a better shock with it. A better damper with the air ride.
I wonder.
Can they take the beating though, like over and over and over again of a coil setup? I mean, you have to worry about. We always see in LA like there's a used Range Rover and the front's collapsed.
Yeah.
Like it's got a lot of rake, or it's like that guy slammed, his Range Rover. No, it's just the bag's deflated.
I've just heard that it can be problematic. I've never seen it for myself.
I've seen it on the freeway.
I'm down.
I have.
Oh, I mean, not
I mean,
the
you
Porsches.
see it.
I
You
haven't.
see it when their car's like 10 years old and up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And presume, maybe it's not been maintained. Who the fuck knows
Yeah,
what
who
happens
knows?
to these cars?
I really feel like it's probably just. Oh, what? It's $2,000 to fix that? No.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you have a $70,000 truck. Fix that.
Whenever I've taken a Range Rover off road with air suspension, it's been fucking amazing. Like incredible, shockingly good. Passenger could take a nap while you're crawling some shit.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yeah.
the Porsche is like that. And people say, no way, but it really is. And I think I saw a few comparisons where the Porsche actually beat the Land Rover.
Could be.
Until it looked like one of the tests was rigged, where they tried to accelerate up a grass hill and the Porsche stomped it at the launch and the Land Rover started off nice and easy.
Oh, really?
So they just sat there spinning. They're like, oh, yep, see, that's where the Land Rover wins. I was like, that's rigged.
Could be tires too. You never know,
You never know
right?
that,
We got a
too.
lot with tires. I mean, I did some pretty intense off-roading in a Range Rover on 21-inch wheels and whatever the fuck that thing comes with from the factory, like on the press launch. That was shockingly good.
All the cars, the technology these days are pretty phenomenal, and Land Rover's been doing it forever. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
If they could just get their electronics figured out.
What of the package, like most of it's protective and less as opposed to like increasing actual capability, right?
Oh well, now with suspension,
That's really the big capability
that
changer.
changed everything. And then capability is also the protection. Like you can go harder.
With confidence.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
confidence.
yeah.
Like I said, like I put it in a ditch and it was no big deal. And that water, that big puddle I slammed through was actually really comical because my brother called it out before we left. He's like, I think you're going to be able to skip like a stone. And
with the skid plates?
And I actually did. My front wheels left the ground and set back down when I hit the water.
Oh, that's kind
I
of
was like,
awesome.
that's funny. It's
Like
not quite
Speed
your
Zone.
Sherpa thing. But
Well, so have you seen Speed Zone remember the movie Speed Zone from 1989 when they skipped the Lamborghini across the thing?
yeah.
It was bit like it must have just come up as a meme or something because it made its way around Instagram last week. You remember that shit?
I remember we talked about it here and we watched
Yeah.
it, and I just laughed so hard.
Oh, what a great film!
It doesn't make any sense. Someone's like, yeah, and then this happens. They're like, yeah, print it,
It's
man.
just one of those You ever see this shit?
Yeah. Oh, I saw the clip and I didn't see the whole movie.
It's
but-
like, and then it starts with like a kid and his grandpa learning to skip stones on the side of the lake. And he's like, "How do I do it, Grandpa?" And he's like, "You have to get the angle right, Billy." And it's like, wah, wah, wah. And then the fucking Countach.
Two dudes who wrote that, and they're like, foreshadowing. This is foreshadowing. Remember, we learned about that before we got thrown out of school. It's like, yeah, that's right. That's right. Put that in there. It's a callback. It's a callback. It's gonna be great.
Yes. And then, if you actually saw the outfits in that movie, that Zach is on point there. Fucking, that's great. So, are you like anticipating this being a volume business?
no.
No.
I don't. I figured, maybe I'd build a few of them and have some fun with it and move on to the next project.
Do they have to be diesels? Do you care?
No, but I like it for the range because then, you don't really even need to take jerry cans along with you because it will go for 550 miles of freeway. That and the torque for off-road, I think that's an advantage.
Is that
low RPM.
PDK or automatic in the Cayenne? It's an auto, right?
They're automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really great for the torque. It's really great for the range. And then also they make no sound. So I've removed the rear muffler and built just a rear muffler delete pipe. So I got more departure angle, more ground clearance.
Oh, and it doesn't really
It still makes no sound.
And the muffler doesn't actually do anything in those.
Well, it's
really?
got 4 catalytic converters.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one after cat, another one after that, then the DPF.
Apparently they needed 6, but
Yeah.
you know.
And then, wait, I was going to ask you the diesel. I mean, is it even? Do you do like a tune or anything? Is it even worth doing any of that stuff, or you just leave the motor alone completely? Yeah, leave it completely, of course.
Yes.
For emissions, obviously.
Yeah, they have a really great warranty.
You have to fix it. Yeah, you have to.
They have an unlimited mileage warranty, so
Do
no,
they
we're
really?
not touching it. Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah, I don't know. They're kind of different, but
Wait,
yeah,
so
basically.
if you buy one of the used diesels, you can get an unlimited mileage warranty? Oh, that's the shit. I like that very much.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've got, I sent my car in once, and got, I think, probably 10 grand worth of work. And now it's like going to go back in again. I'm like, hey, it's weeping. It's sweating some oil. And he's like, I got you. Because he's going to get paid.
It's weeping.
Yeah, it's just weeping. It's just got a little sweat. It's got a little sweat.
I never heard that term, and I had a problem. And I was talking to Musto. He's like, maybe it's got a weep hole. And I went, what's that? And he's like, it's got a tiny little hole somewhere in like the block, and it just now and then like leaks oil. It's like, that shouldn't. Is that a thing?
Exist.
It shouldn't be a thing.
That's not a thing.
I think in 60s cars, maybe it's a thing. Where like axles or something. I don't know.
When I got my Lambo, it sweat a little bit, and then it stopped. I just started driving it.
It collected.
And the more I drive it,
some
it
mud around it.
It filled the seal.
It stopped. It would do a couple little drops after a drive, and then it completely stopped.
Sitting hurts cars.
Yeah.
So it was probably sitting, and now you're putting some.
And now it drives, and now it's good.
It's happy.
Well, how come you said you would do this project for a while and move on? Can't you kind of ping pong around because you have a lot of skills?
I mean, I could go back and build a rally car if I wanted, and I could always go back and build these because I know what it takes, and unfortunately these are the bumpers that I made for this. If you've seen some of the pictures, they're very complex, so we can't fixture them. They're just, it would be like
each one has to be made by hand.
Yeah.
What's so complex? Pull up a picture. What's so complex about them?
I think it's like 38 bends in the front bumper.
Wait.
So
you gotta explain that a little more.
You mean like the push bar?
Yeah, the push bar.
I'll go to the
overhead
shot.
There's, I don't know. How
right
far
there.
back it
We
is.
want the skid plate there.
No, there's one on the ground.
There's one where all the stuff's laid on the ground, right?
No.
With me sitting. Go back.
Like this one, or
no? Go back again.
I
think right there to the.
Oh,
left
there on
of
the
me.
left. Yeah.
So there's a few pictures that go along.
I mean,
with
that does look like a fairly complicated piece.
That's with the winch, but it's it's a lot of work. It ties into the frame rails. It ties into the subframe. It protects the radiator. Protects the intercoolers.
it kind of fits the body shape also. Which
Imagine
is
trying
not
to
it's
common.
build
really
a fixture.
tight up on the thing.
Yeah, that's because I wanted it for,
I'm sorry,
around
I
Newport
can't.
and around Beverly Hills. Like, that's something that you would expect, like, Porsche to say, yeah, we've got an off-road package. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Something real nice and tidy. So it's just, the fixture for that would weigh 1,500 pounds and cost me $12,000 to make. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to build enough cars to have that make sense. So we build them to order for each car.
Wow, dude.
So yeah, we'll go back and do more as people want, but my focus will be wherever people want to. I'm already moving on this year to a secret, very ridiculous project that you guys are gonna love.
Okay.
Everyone's gonna love it. It's kind of an asshole move, I love this customer. He's like, I want to do this, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. I'm stoked, but just. Basically brand new GT3. It's 1,200 miles on a 991.2 GT3, and we're gonna go hog wild and do some fun stuff with it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't know, being a little
Don't
bit
give it away.
secretive.
Don't give it away.
I have such a big mouth. I'm trying not to.
Well, it's okay.
Understood.
So stay tuned.
You can tell us when we're not recording anymore.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
I understand the you don't want to blow it up, but if you do,
I don't want to tell.
You should do it on our show.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly you shouldn't go somewhere else and then blow it up. No. You shouldn't do it here.
You'll just see some leaked photos and then call me back like, hey, we got to talk about this thing.
And not that I think you want to drive customers away, certainly, but if someone at home said, "Look, I can't afford to have Joey make me this fucking crazy bumper guard or whatever," but like. I think the idea of off-roading a Cayenne actually sounds kind of fun. Could somebody get a Cayenne and get the appropriate suspension, wheels, and tires and get a good amount of the way there.
I'm not the first, just like I wasn't the first with the rally cars. You know, there's other people that have done it. They've focused more on like the turbos and the GTSs, you know, the first gen Cayennes.
Is that a Dakar kind of thing? Oh, the Trans-Siberia, obviously,
stuff.
yeah.
But no, there's been a few, like, and there was a few there at.
There was 6 there. A few, yeah.
So there's
They're
other
like
people.
DeLorean owners. They roll in packs.
Well, the Trans-Siberias, but no, there was a couple home built ones, or you know, shop built turbos and GTSs, and they're pretty cool. They're actually, it looks like their bumpers are quite a bit easier to make. So most people are going for first.
Oh, the
gen.
first gen bumpers are easier to make than the later ones.
The lines, the bumper lines of the factory bumper are nice and clean and easy, like straight. They're not on the second gen or the facelifted second gen. So it was quite a bit more complicated. So yeah, no, people could. You know, they've been done. There's what's that, Flat Six up in Vancouver.
I don't know them.
He's doing a Rothmans one, or has had one.
Oh,
before
somebody brought a Rothmans one out,
something like
and
that.
it was pretty. It was pretty cool. Actually, I was a fan.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Sure, they're not as extensive of builds, but it also, like we said, it doesn't take much. I just went to full protection, full capability, and then we even outfitted it. Like he had Pelican cases, he had the Goose Gear cabinets. I supplied him with all the Factor 55 recovery gear. You know,
what's that? Sorry,
it's just all the ropes and everything for the winch, so he could get himself out. Like he had Max Tracks, everything ready to go.
Nice.
So it was turnkey, even with his trailer. So he just picked it up and he can load up whatever he needs to load up, you know, when the snow melts for him, and go.
We're gonna have to pick up some. If Zach's back is up for it, I signed us up for Lee's Safari Rally for the West Coast, which is Phoenix to Vegas off road. And it's 12 Safari 911s. It's June.
I wonder if he'd let me come.
He with a Lyft car?
Maybe
he would. I mean, I talked. I don't want to speak for him, but
I'll hit him up.
But I think he probably would. I think a couple like the hotels we were staying at are very small, so that was sort of the thing.
That's going to be so fun.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Maybe I can just come with the Cayenne as a support vehicle.
Maybe. You know, Bryce, his paint and body guy, Bryce, who's a fucking genius down in Atlanta, he built himself a Cayenne. Pull up on Instagram.
I saw it.
Bryson the Painter on Instagram. This motherfucker can paint.
Really?
Oh my God, is he fucking good. And look at his little blue Cayenne is the support vehicle, and it's pretty cool. It's a first gen. I don't know if it's it
looks like
turbo or a GTS.
But see the bumper line on the front?
How it's just straight across. Yeah,
quite a bit easier.
So I think he's our support guy.
Look at his light pod.
Yeah. Well, that one was a leftover from the Safari 911s. He just fucking threw it on there.
Slapped it on.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, but he's a fun dude, man. That's gonna be fun. So yeah, Phoenix, Arizona to Vegas off road should be really fun.
Oh, he's got a winch tucked up in the front too. He did it proper.
That's not good.
And we need to figure out what because I want to get a rack, basket rack for the roof. We got to figure out what our extra gear needs to be, Zach.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what we need to have.
We got to ask Lee what goes wrong and what we need.
Beer? Just all beer. The roof rack.
Well, actually, we should ask you.
And some throwing axes.
Yes,
definitely.
You're a more experienced off-roader than both of us. What would we need to bring with an air-cooled 911? Like, what could go wrong, if anything?
Joey's panicking.
Okay.
Ask Lee.
I have Marco.
Right, yeah.
Marco's making me a tool roll.
Yeah.
He's making me not one of the period correct ones, just the one that would actually work on my car.
Will there be a person in the role that knows what they're doing? Because neither of us.
If your back is broken, fucking Marco.
Yeah, he's much better.
He's next in line succession there.
Just the ability to change a tire because you have a spare.
Yeah, we got that.
You got that. Some tools, some fuses, some relays, fan belt.
Yeah, those are easy. They're going to bring all that.
Some glue.
I mean, the good news is all the cars on the rally are mostly the same.
Yeah.
So one vehicle of spares for all the cars is pretty much sufficient.
Yeah,
Cut to 7 a.m. Someone's like, "Who took the part off my car?" And you're like, I don't know,
but mine's running again.
Mine's working.
Well, I was having that cold start issue. It was idling like shit when it was really ice cold. Marco and that dude Steve Wong sorted that.
Yeah.
So
Steve Wong, the tuner.
Yes, that is.
You're in good hands.
Handled.
Marco's he knows his stuff.
He said he started ice cold this morning. He turned the key, no holding the throttle pedal, none of that, and it was good to go. Perfect.
This morning?
This morning it was cold.
It was real cold.
He's got it right now for its annual servicio.
Good.
We need to get it back.
Good.
Get in the super chat, folks. If you got some fucking questions, we'll talk about your shit. Oh, there's a lot of them. Yeah, let's get to it. We'll get in the super chat, and then we're going to close it in 5 minutes because there are a bunch. What does that say? Nick Albo says, what is uglier, the Subaru B9 Tribeca, a.k.a. the flying vagina, or the Nissan Juke? I think
I go B9.
B9 Tribeca.
I saw
It's
one
uglier?
in December.
It's uglier.
It's so bad.
I think there's room in the world for the Juke.
Yeah.
I'm sad the Juke got replaced by the
Is that the one that
Kicks.
somebody put a Skyline motor in?
Juke
Yes.
R.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to go with
Full
yours.
GTR
terrifying.
Because that is
chassis.
kind of cool. Neat.
Fuck
neat
yeah, it
looking.
is. And there's another guy named Lars who has a Juke rally car and mobs it. It's pretty fun.
That's
Front
cool.
wheel drive, but it mobs. It's all right.
It's embraced its ugly, so that's
Kind of
becomes
suits
pretty
a rally
again.
car.
Yeah.
Like the WRC cars have so much fender, they look kind of ugly, and like Jukes, like they transform them so much that there's just all these round shapes. So
That's awesome.
Amar, I can't pronounce your last name, I'm sorry, but Amar wants to know, Joey, will you be selling those bumpers to the public, or do you have to get a full build?
Because we have to build them on the car, I think it's. My original idea was to be able to sell them, but it's just they're too time consuming, and I need a.
The answer is for the right price, he will absolutely sell you one.
Yeah, that means I don't have my car for 2 weeks because we're building it on mine.
Oh, you have to really? That's how that
Probably.
works. You
Well,
gotta
I mean, I
build-
built it on the customer builds, but if I don't have
It's a good
his
point.
car, I
you
have
need
to use mine.
a car.
Yeah,
Damn.
so it's a little complicated.
What if you just find a crashed one and like sawzall the front off?
Just have a front clip and
just
rear.
mount it to your wall. And just have a front clip there.
there's your jig.
Remember when I said
Fucking
expensive?
brilliant.
That's true. Buying a
Heavy
parts
fixtures.
car would be way cheaper than buying a jig.
I mean, as someone who's never fabricated anything, that sounds like a good idea. That sounds like that would work.
Yeah.
Joey's like,
You never know.
It will
You
not
never know
work.
though. Like I might, every so often there are opportunities like where I can build one. So if somebody's at the right place at the right time, I'll be able to build one and send it out.
How about a Macan? A
That's in the
Macan turbo rally car would be the fucking
Like
jam.
a tarmac rally car.
Hell yeah.
I've been talking to a few people.
Yeah.
Trying to get them excited because I'm not going to buy another SUV. But I thought about it. I was like, man, that's a great car because they're a lot of fun.
It's like a luxury rally car already.
So imagine, we drive sports cars occasionally or often, and it's around here. It can be tough creeping into driveways, speed bumps, all that stuff. And with the rally car first, not slowing down for stuff is awesome. The
best.
And then the Macans they feel like a sports car. Heavy
They have
rear
Porsche
bias.
steering.
Yeah, it's
PDK
sharp.
makes a big difference.
And you can fit 4 people in it. You can throw a bunch of stuff in the back or on the roof. I'm like, yeah, I'm into that. That's a practical sports car. So then I was like, yeah, tarmac rally. Let's make some skid plates. Not the big push bars and all that stuff. Just skid plates so you can go hit the fire roads really, really hard.
Be sick.
You're speaking my language, Joey. I like that very much. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I had a great time with the Macan Turbo press car, and it was very luxury rally car. It ruled. Cho Ray says, Joey, do you think the rear engine layout of the 911 is outdated, and will Porsche just not let it go? All things being equal, is the Cayman a better platform?
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy. Mm-hmm. I think it's phenomenal. A phenomenal layout. If you can,
the rear engine.
It's just not easy for everybody. And I'll quote, I forget who it was. Back in my racing days when I was racing ALMS as a mechanic, I always have to clarify.
Well, it's the way you say it, but
when I raced, yeah. But I mean, racing's not just driving.
No, you're part of the team.
Some of the other guys from the other manufacturers were like, they would always just come over and be like, yeah, to drive a 911 that fast is something special. Like, talking about our drivers, because it is not easy. But once you figure it out, yeah, they're fast. Obviously, it's
clearly
the winningest marquee of any. So it works. Does a mid-engine car work better? I mean, most manufacturers seem to think so. They don't have as much of a slip angle, that's for sure. And clearly, Porsche has embraced mid-engine with the RSR.
Yeah,
and that was.
It seems they keep trying to inch the 911 that way, either by moving the engine forward or stretching the wheelbase backwards.
Well, they moved the engine forward a little, and then the rear steering is without a proper way of describing it, the engineers told me once upon a time that it's like moving the rear axle back further. So they've embraced the benefits of it. Clearly the RSR was more so for aero, because the diffuser can start sooner. But I don't know. I've had fun in mid-engine cars, but I still love driving a 911 fast. I love hanging it out. It's just that little bit, that 5 or 6 degrees of yaw, and just hammer down carrying a front wheel. It's
I think
awesome.
if you're not as talented, you can probably get more out of the mid-engine car.
That's exactly, I think that's what I was basically saying. It's easier to drive a mid-engine car. It's razor sharp. It responds very well, but it spins like a top.
Yeah.
That's why they don't have, the polar moments right in the middle, close to right in the middle. So it's at the limit, it might be harder. But yeah, for most people, mid-engine will be better.
Yeah. I prefer the 911 still, but the Caymans are great little cars. They're
great.
a lot of fun.
They're great, especially the GT4 is phenomenal.
Yeah. I just drove Boxster Spider recently too, the new one. It was fucking bitching. The brand new one.
I've only done the old one, and
the
those
new
are
one's
phenomenal.
a full GT4 just with no roof. The same suspension and everything as a GT4.
Like I built those too.
Yeah.
I built the two 981s to be like a GT4.
Oh, really? Well,
Uprights.
they're
uprights,
doing that
brakes.
now.
Yeah.
Preininger's on it. Don't worry. Corey says, I drive a stock 997 Porsche 911S in a local autocross class against newer, faster hardware, mostly open rules. Other than the driver mod, tires, and alignment, are there some affordable tweaks I can do to gain advantage? I'm sure there are.
Oh, he eliminated all the good stuff. Tires, suspension, and brakes, and then put it on a diet.
Yeah, start taking things out.
Yeah. Like weight is everything, especially like to get it off the rear and move it to the front. Like my Nasty is like, what was it? 56-44, my weight distribution.
Wow, that's very good.
Like all the oil tanks in the front, the big oil cooler in the front, everything's kind of moved inside the front axle, and off the back. So it's the pretty good weight distribution on that.
Can you do that kind of stuff and still have your car be like a daily? What can you do and still have your car work? Really lightweight wheels? I mean, really...
Lightweight wheels are good.
Really sticky
lightweight
tires,
brakes.
Aggressive alignment, brake pads, like you said, brake fluid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they don't get very hot in autocross, so that's not too big of a deal.
Does the S have a mechanical limited slip diff? All S's? 997 S's?
Yeah, right.
First gen, I'm not sure.
If it's first gen, it's, I think that's a mechanical diff. I think second gen might be electronic.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, Dawson has a coffee question. Dawson, what kind of coffee should I try next for my Chemex, and what kind of grinder do you use? I use the Barazza Virtuoso, which is a great grinder. I've had it for like 6 years. It's awesome. And what kind of coffee? Check out, I've been fucking with this coffee called Marea, Marea, and it's out of San Diego, and it is delicious. KC says, Joey, Matt, and Zach, what is the one that got away car or vehicle for each of you? So do you have one that got away?
Kinda.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had some client once upon a time when Nasty was in fresh paint and not done. And he wanted out of it was a 997.1 GT2, but stripped and caged and beautiful. And he was like, I want it. Like, I'll trade you for Nasty. And I'm like, what? Like, are you serious? And like, I balked at it because like those people can either be serious or totally full of it. So that would probably be the one that got away, because he was like, yeah, give me your car, we'll trade, and then like give me $30,000. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good one.
I mean, I feel like that is a trade, maybe not for that car specifically. I feel like you could sell your car and get 997 GT2 money.
Oh, easy now.
Yeah.
But this was when it wasn't done. It was just fresh red.
Wow.
The engine wasn't back in.
So
I was like, ooh.
That would have been a good lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, no, I easily could get if I wanted to.
Good money.
Yeah.
Real good money.
Yeah.
I could have bought and indeed considered buying a 2005 Ford GT in Quicksilver, which is the rarest color. Quicksilver, no stripe. It's the rarest color. They only made 26 of those. I don't know how many are left, but less than 26. And it had like 3,000 miles on it. It was $169,000. And I talked about it on our podcast that I wanted it, and a fan heard me and bought it. And then it sold at RM or Gooding or something like 3 years later for $360,000.
That one hurts a little.
That one sucks. It's still worth that. It's probably worth more. A Quicksilver No Stripe 4GT is as expensive as a 4GT gets, and it's also very pretty. And so they're the shit, though. You ever drive one?
No.
05 4GT? Oh, they're fucking good. They are the best.
They look, I mean, they just look amazing. They're just
awesome.
timeless.
Can you believe
Amazing.
that car is now 15 years old? That is a 15-year-old car.
I just rewatched. They made a commercial for it. You remember it? And it was like, at which it's a 4GT driving at Sonoma, with tight shots and all that stuff. And it was made in like 04, so the cameras or whatever. But it's like, at what gear do you actually feel like engaged with your car? And it's basically just that kind of statement. At the end, it says like the flagship vehicle for a whole company or something like that. And it was just like, blah, blah, it was really good.
It was Ford's 100th anniversary. What was yours, Zach? Did you have one?
I think when I was looking for M3s, there was a Estrel Blue coupe with 75,000 miles on it, kept in like Venice in nice condition. And if I'd bought it, Musto was like, buy this and don't drive it, because it would have made money. But that's not what I wanted a car for.
And you don't have the facilities for that kind of thing either.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have trashed it.
Yeah.
So otherwise, no. I've
been talking to people about this. If you a car that you can't drive and use is a really expensive, annoying thing to deal with.
We talked about that earlier with my car. It's worth a lot of money and takes up valuable shop space.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I can't say it like that, because people like to actually come in and they go, oh, is that Project
Well,
Nasty?
it's a showpiece
like,
for you. Yeah, I mean, it might be entertaining, but still, what is that 8 by or 10 by 20 bit of shop floor worth as a customer vehicle?
Yeah. And I kind of miss it, actually, because it's been gone for, 2 or 3 months.
But especially if you don't have a shop, if you have a house in a 2-car garage, and
you're
it's
making the wife park outside.
Yeah, it's just not cool. KC says, what has been the best and worst days while building this place? Oh man, the worst day. There's a lot of those. The best day is when they lined up 100 concrete trucks and poured our foundation with 100 concrete trucks.
You posted that.
That
You're
shit,
like, sorry, everybody.
We fucked up Sentinella for a bit.
That's cool.
And then the other best day was like last week when I went over there, and the exterior now looks exactly like the rendering. It's like the rendering on the computer, and then like right there, that it looks just like the fucking photo, like just like it. And it's like, oh shit, that's fucking so cool.
You got to be pretty proud.
That's the coolest thing, man.
Are you the sentimental type?
Does
it
think
get you
so.
right here?
Here's when it will. It will get me right here when it's full of excited customers. Right now, I'm giving tours and people are very excited that come through, but there isn't necessarily a sense of urgency that they need to give me money now before it's done, and I completely understand that.
Right.
And I think, like my friend Spike says, I'm in the right now business, and people want it. They need it right now. And so once we're open and I'm able to say, here's the thing, that's where your car goes, here's how much it costs, this is the value it provides you, and here's how we're going to save you time. And then we can start right this second.
He's absolutely right on every aspect of this business. It is right now. Like, it's impulsive.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, this is fun. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, but it's going to be the coolest thing ever. I don't have a worst, but like just finding out that there's something that is totally out of your control. You didn't fuck up. Nobody who works for you fucked up. But there's something that happened with the property or with the laws or with the whatever, and the only way out of it is to pay someone an extraordinary amount of money.
Yeah, those are the worst days. Yeah, there was no way around this. I get it.
Blakesley says, I'm selling a 2002 Civic Si for something newer, quieter, and faster. I drove the Focus ST, but for similar money, I can get a 986 Boxster. Should I do that?
ST.
I mean, I don't think you want to rely on a 986 Boxster as a daily driver.
Do not.
You heard it from the man.
Yeah, no, you get more bang for the buck with a ST. You know, like you're buying a cheap car that was once upon a time expensive.
That's not a good place to be.
And also that is not cheap to maintain.
And also that isn't very good performing.
That 986 engine
is not good.
Put an LS in it.
Yeah, you can.
That'd be amazing.
You actually can.
You just heard the Porsche purist. They put a
You're
LS.
better off. Brian Onofre says, for a last gen, I say, by the way, for that last question, if you want something, get a GTI. I mean, you know, you can get a GTI. Get a BMW 135i, or a 335i, or even a 328.
If you want European engineering, go for it. Get an Audi. You know, S4 or an S3. That
S3s are fun.
Those are fun.
Yeah.
I had one for like 3 months and it was awesome.
They're great fun.
I absolutely loved it. Yeah, get something because they do have that ride quality, that engineering that's better than a Focus.
Definitely.
Here's a weird one. Brian says, I have a last gen Mustang, so I guess that's 11 to 14. I welded on BMR box steel subframe connectors. People say it's stiff enough from factory and doesn't need subframe connectors. Chassis engineer opinion. I autocross, rallycross, and drift it.
Ooh, I can't say because I've never been underneath one or driven one or engineered one, so that I'm not the right person to ask.
I mean,
I don't even
autocross, rallycross, and drift, those are all some abusive things. I can't imagine some reinforcement is going to hurt you in that case, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
What in general, could you ruin the car by adding reinforcement if the car is, quote, stiff enough?
No.
Forget the Mustang.
And I did a piece, I forget what it was for, like talking about how you have to start with, just like humans are backbone, you got to start on the furthest point inboard. So if he's rally crossing it, you know, and your control arms and dampers are doing their job, you got to have everything inside doing a better job. So yeah, I don't think there's any problem with there's no such thing as too stiff, I don't think.
Not for motorsport, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
not when it comes to the chassis, as far as the tub.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you could have shocks that are suspension that's too stiff.
You know, a lot of sports cars are oversprung because they're compensating for chassis flex. So
someone asked the question of like, do you think new cars are getting super stiff, or do you know why? And like, we always assume it's because they're trying to trick people into thinking it's very sporty. Because the chassis get more and more rigid every year, so that's probably not a problem for that.
Not always.
Really?
Not always. Yeah, no, I think the 997 chassis is stiffer than the 991.
Really?
Whoa.
Huh.
It's a steel tub versus a kind of it's like riveted and glued together aluminum.
I saw some photos of front suspension on like GT3 RSs, like popping through their fender mount.
That's from bottoming out.
Oh, okay.
So nobody talks about it. They're like, oh, because I do spring packages on GT3s, and they're like, well, I don't want to do more spring rate because I don't want the tower to pop through. And I'm like, that's not from spring. That's actually from lack of spring rate. So you're allowing the wheel to compress too far. It bottoms the shock out and throws it through the aluminum tower. So
okay, because I saw those photos, I was like, oh, wow.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
I'd be like,
real bad. It looks like a baby. It looks like a baby
it's
chick.
like breaking your femur and having it come through your jeans.
Yeah, you're in shock. You're just staring at it.
It looks like a baby bird cracked out of an egg and like poked its head. It's just top hat and ooh.
There's little reinforcements so you can do that. Porsche Motorsport made for like the Cup cars and the GT4 Club Sports, but you have to kind of do a little modification to make it work on a street car. But I've never seen it on any of my cars and with the spring packages, so that's all right.
Gotcha. Hoyt Richardson says he asked this before, but it seems fitting from you. He's got a B5.5 Passat wagon with a 2.7 turbo and 500 wheel horsepower. That's right, I remember this guy because he's the only one. He's looking to add a cage soon. Since this is 80% track, 20% street, what is the most important cage feature?
Low door bars.
Like, being able to get in and out of the car.
Don't think you're tough and you're like, I'm going to have a street car with a roll cage. Yeah, it gets old fast. Real fast.
Yeah.
It's not that fun to climb in and out of it. Like I know it's a safety feature, but and roll cages on street cars, that's another thing. Like some people have been severely injured or killed, you know, from hitting their heads in an incident where they're not wearing their helmet.
Wasn't that young girl killed recently?
I don't know.
It was a girl who was like 20 who does like time attack or something, was driving a caged car on the street and got into a very small accident and died.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's something to think about, honestly. You know, it takes your dual purpose vehicle and makes it not so dual purpose.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I agree with you. Low door bars, because you just don't want to. You'll ruin the fucking car.
Yeah.
Unless you're racing door to door, and that's a requirement. Don't.
And the first time you're trying to catch up with your buddies, and you got a coffee in your hand, and you're taking off, and you go, boom, with your elbow and whimper like you're 3 years old. Yeah, I did that. And I think I still feel it 3 years later.
I think this guy's like half Duke boy, and he's just gonna weld the door and just slide in. I mean, he's got a 500 wheel horsepower Passat.
Yeah, right. Sean Smith says E30 for budget endurance racing and uses divorced spring-mounted inboard on trailing arm on rear. Is it worth converting to a coilover for added control? What do you think? E30?
Added control.
Do you get more control on a coilover than whatever it is that disaster is he's talking about? Divorced spring mounted inboard on a trailing arm.
I mean, divorced. I mean, it just becomes harder to get spring rates and stuff like that. But a divorced setup is actually quite efficient because the side, remember when you take your pen apart at school and you squish it and then it goes, pew, shoots across the room because they don't compress linear. They compress and they want to go every which way. So it side loads the shock. And it actually puts load on the piston to the body. So honestly, having it divorced is not bad. I think more of a problem that he has is that's a true trailing arm car, the E30, where they have no camber or toe change under compression. Mm-hmm. That's why they're so loose in the rear. I think focus just on putting a really good damper in it, honestly, so you can control as much as you possibly can where geometry isn't helping you.
Okay. Good tip. Anderson says, best new or newish four-door daily in New York. I mean, look, there's a best Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Yeah, I don't know. My mom has an SQ5 that she seems to like very much. It's pretty compact. It has some tires that are good for potholes. It's got a little rip snorting supercharged V6 in it.
I've not heard anyone say anything bad about those.
SQ5 is kind of rule.
It's a Macan. Same thing.
Yeah, it's not as nice as the Macan. You dial back the niceness a little bit. You dial back the quality control just a little bit, but it's pretty fucking nice.
But the performance,
pretty much
the comfort,
the
practicality of it. Yeah. I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Either one of those.
Or honestly, Macan.
Yeah.
I mean, the Macan is the best daily driver around. They're expensive for what you're,
one.
Yeah.
If you want something you can park really easily, though, I'd go with something like a cop car.
Yeah.
Like an actual.
Somebody told me they actually
cop car.
prefer that in traffic because if you're driving in the left lane, people just
It works. I did it for 2 years. It fucking works.
It does work.
But now everyone has Explorers.
And now you
that's
grow a
terrifying.
mustache.
That's right. I couldn't grow them before. I just hit puberty.
You do look a little like Mac from Super Troopers with a mustache.
Totally.
What's the next one?
I had a Miata too.
Nithins, what has he got there? For $100K, daily driver Porsche for $100K.
Whoa, man! A lot of the 991s have come way down.
Yeah.
One of my clients just bought a 991 Turbo for $100K.
What?
Wow, really?
I was like, are you kidding me?
That's a ton of car.
That's a lot of car. And that's a very sophisticated car. Like they are you have to do a bunch to make it behave more like a sports car because it's a very luxurious sports car. But that's a lot of car.
That's a crazy amount of speed for $100,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, you can get a very lightly depreciated Carrera T, which is a very lovely little thing.
I've not been able to have the luxury.
You haven't driven a Carrera T?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
they
I've heard
rule.
Awesome stuff.
They're the
them.
shit. Yeah, you get all the little goodies. That's very, very involving. It's very good.
It's funny how I get in these little niches. Honestly, like for the longest time, obviously when I started the business because of Nasty and because of the Luftgekühlt cars, the Luft Auto cars, I was getting a lot of air cooled. I'm like, I'm not the air cooled guru, and then it was like back to water cooled and it was all 991 GT3s and RSs, even the GT2 RSs. And that was it. I'm like, wow, that is pretty cool. Like, honestly, I'm definitely not going to complain about it. But no, I've not seen any of them. I've had like 2 GTSs come through.
I think
is also a
I think the
phenomenal
long play is a Carrera T. They sold like 6 of them. The GT3 Tourings were so available, nobody went for the Carrera Ts. There's like none of them. They're hard to find.
Yeah.
And you can do power,
Which means you're not going to get it for $100,000.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think they might depreciate because
they might
because like this
depreciate.
guy was like, maybe you get a 718, which is near that price. The Boxer Spider you had was near 100, right?
Boxer Spider was 105.
I mean,
yeah,
the competition in
they're
that space, ironically, within Porsche is expensive, even though
Yeah.
they were trying to go after that market with the T.
Alternate take, Lotus Evora GT. Very nice car. Fun to daily. Simple, but very fun. No?
I think I go 911T. I don't know, the Evora is so nice, but the back is so weird looking to me. It's a good fun car.
You don't have to look at the back while you're driving it.
It's a good point.
news.
Can you beat the tar out of it every day?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a
you
Toyota
can.
engine.
I tried that once. I had one for 3 weeks, and I did not treat it nice at all. It's fine. Camry motor. Supercharged intercooled Camry motor.
True.
Fucking hammer it.
Awesome.
Really good too. Titanium exhaust sounds great. It's a 6-into-1, so it's got this really nice
That's
trumpety titanium thing
That's
that
cool.
it's good. Yeah. What did that say? Dave wants a car that can handle a rooftop tent and carry a couple of kayaks. Any suggestions? Presumably some dirt also.
I think his budget is 0 to $1 million based on his question.
Rolls Royce Cullinan.
Next.
Sherp.
Can the Cayenne handle a rooftop tent and carry a couple of kayaks?
I don't know with the stock stuff. I don't
tent
think.
and kayaks. You gotta have
No,
to pick one or
not
the
of it.
other.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight. I
Where
mean,
would you put the kayaks?
You
if
could
you
throw
had
them on top
the
of
sides.
because there's hard shell tents like the James Brood and like my brother's getting a GFC and all that. So there are hard top ones that you can still mount on top of it. Honestly, the cars that are intended to have a roof rack like 4Runners, it's
Right.
You can put some load up there.
Yeah, you have to. I guess you have to really check the weight loading or
Yeah.
however that works,
Yeah.
right, with your specific automobile.
Yeah.
I like the Kelly Moss Porsche that has that tent on the top. That's pretty cool. I don't think I want to sleep on the top of my 911, but they built one of those crazy Safaris that had a rooftop tent.
I think I remember seeing it.
Yeah, it was cool. You got another one, Zach?
Yeah, this is the last one. It was tucked to the bottom, so I had to shrink back. This person was going to replace their NA Miata with an E30, but they got a raise. They can now support 2 cars. Miata plus LS400. Is that better than 1-car garage with E30?
Should you trade a
So they
Miata
trade-
for E30 or keep a Miata and get an LS daily? Well, I mean, look, here's the thing.
I think he's saying, should he keep Miata, go LS400, or change to just E30? Yeah.
I mean, an E30 is an only car. You're talking about a 35-year-old car at this point.
They do a pretty good job. I think that's actually interesting. I think it is kind of a marriage of the Miata and the LS400. The LS400 is really comfortable to drive. Ergonomics are good. And then the Miata is fun. Like, I think if they fucked, you'd kind of get an E30. I really do.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
E30s are comfortable.
Yeah.
They are fun.
I mean, you are right. They're slow. They're 35 years old.
Yeah.
The safety is 35 years old.
Yeah. It's got to be a really nice one.
Yeah.
A really nice one.
And your maintenance
There's some
bills are
really
gonna go
shit
up.
ones.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to put some money into it.
Yep.
Every
matter how you look at
E30
it.
needs $3,000 worth of something.
And every Miata
least.
needs
At
0.
least.
Every Miata and LS400.
I'm the
well,
worst person
no,
to
it's
ask
not.
these things because it's like,
No, you could
that's
find
what-
everything this thing needs. Yeah.
I'm not good at it.
I don't know, man. I think instead of at the level this dude is playing at, I don't think you should be fucking with 2 cars. I think you should try and get one
Yeah,
better,
put your-
more
yeah,
reliable,
you don't
nicer
need 2.
car.
You don't need 2. Just
Yeah.
put it into something
Yeah.
that's more.
And LSs are really reliable and really durable, but some of the maintenance is a little expensive, and some little things that could go wrong can be expensive.
Are they fun to drive?
LSs? No, they're couches. They're
Yeah,
big
so
couches. Yeah. They serve a purpose for sure. It's smooth,
Yeah, but
They're
he's
amazing.
trying to go opposite ends of the spectrum
Yeah.
with this. So
What he's asking is, what I need him to be asking is, Matt, I want a hamburger. Who makes the best hamburger? What he is asking is, should I have a hamburger or should I get Chinese food and a burrito? And there's no
I
answer
don't
to
know how
that.
to answer that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry.
Joey, what do you want to plug? Just Emotion Engineering. That's it, right?
Emotionengineering.co. What is it? Emotion.
Yep.
No.
Emotionengineering.co.
Emotion_engineering for Instagram. We're going to be starting a YouTube channel.
Arjas.
Ooh, cool.
I
Need a
think
few
you
tips?
mentioned it. Yeah, a lot of people have mentioned it over the years.
What are you going to do?
that.
Builds?
We're going to do the builds. We're going to talk about suspension setup. We're going to talk about the various parts and why they're needed because we're doing parts now. But something to add a little bit of fun and more detailed descriptions of the builds and the parts mostly.
Awesome.
And add, I get some fun visitors there. So, interview them from time to time like you guys do. Not at all. Sorry, not at all like you guys do. But it's
Rip
fun.
off.
Yeah,
Why
rip
don't
off.
you?
But I figured it'd be fun because
You should.
I don't know. There's just a lot to share and a lot of horsing around.
Did you just move to a bigger shop too?
No, I had 2 shops that were separated by one. And I got out of that and got 2 side by side.
Oh, okay.
Which actually it worked out pretty well, but it's so now bigger because I knocked the part of the wall down.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got a coffee shop next door.
Oh, a good one?
Real good one.
Who's that?
They were ranked like 9th in the country by
Fuck outta
Food
here.
and Beverage.
What coffee
magazine.
shop?
It's called Daydream.
Oh,
It's a surf
really?
shop, coffee shop.
Really?
So it's a huge distraction.
Yeah.
I will have
There's
to come
lots of
have some
people
coffee.
coming. Like I've never worked in a shop where there's actually people walking by and visiting. Like
Well, it's probably good
I had
advertising.
not 2. Was it 2? I had a IMSA endurance driver drop by this morning cycling. I was like, what?
Just randomly?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. This is exactly where you need to be, I think.
Lots of people off the beach. Keeps it real entertaining.
That's awesome.
I
love
like it.
Thanks for coming to see us.
Yeah.
Thank you for braving the
Thanks
traffic.
for having
I'm sorry
me.
for being a few minutes late.
It's all good.
Emotion_engineering on Instagram and emotionengineering.co. That's Joey Seeley, folks. Thanks very much for listening. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a connection to the internet, a microphone, and ideally something to say. Good night, everybody.